This is Palho, and he's on a quest to beat Palworld one region at a time. His quest started and continues on a little place called the Forgotten Island. He has to catch 10 of each pal in this region, while also taking down any bosses before moving to the next region and eventually completing all of Palworld. In the last video, after getting our base to level 6 and making some basic necessities, we automated gathering wood, stone, berries, and wool. We also managed to capture 10 of 5 different pals and a decent amount of some others. In this video, we're going to finish catching the rest of all of the pals, defeat the Fellbat boss, and get our base to at least level 10, maybe higher if it's easy enough, and get our first flying mount. Let's start off with upgrading our base and ourselves a little bit. A first good step is getting out of the Stone Age and into the Iron Age. This starts with our tools. We're going to be upgrading into a metal pickaxe and an axe, which will save us a lot of time in both gather speed and less visits to the repair bench. The Iron Age, of course, is going to require a bunch of iron, and in order to get it, we need to find these iron rocks, mine them, and smelt what we get into ingots. In order to smelt them, we're going to need a pal with the kindling ability and a primitive furnace. Now that we have some more, let's go ahead and finish the furnace and add a fire pal to our base's workforce. With that finished, I realize I currently have too many tasks I want to do and not enough pal spaces to do it. While our fire pal is making the ingots, let's upgrade our base and increase the number of pals that we can have working at the base. For an efficient base, we need certain types of pals in there. I always want to have a pal mining for me, a pal woodcutting for me, a pal to plant and gather food, a pal to water the food and anything else that needs watering, a pal to smelt ingots and other fire related needs, a general purpose pal that can transport and help me craft, and I also want a pal for our ranch, depending on my current need. For right now, our only two options are the land ball for some wool, or a chickpea for some eggs for some extra food. Our next base level requires us to build a crusher. This is a really good upgrade to the base because it allows us to automate Paldean fragments, which are required for some of the future buildings, and of course for pal spheres. Now that the crusher is completed, we can upgrade our base and increase the number of pals that we can have working there. We are a bit low on food, so I'm going to use this extra slot to put in a chickpea to get some more eggs at the ranch. As we were collecting the missing Paldean fragments needed to craft the crusher, our pickaxe actually broke, which means this is a perfect time to upgrade it into the metal axe. Let's go ahead and collect the ingots that were being made while we were upgrading the base and make our pickaxe. Except, to make both the metal axe and the metal pickaxe, we're going to need a high quality workbench. So let's go ahead and unlock this, and again, we need some nails. So let's go ahead and unlock these two. With the nails finished, we can finally make our high quality workbench. And with the workbench done, we can make our metal pickaxe. And since we have enough ingots left over, let's do our metal axe as well. Let's go ahead and replace our stone axe and our stone pickaxe. We replaced our tools, and now it's time to get back to work on the base. And finally, some good news. We already have everything we need to get to level 7. Nice! To make Paldean fragments with the crusher, we're going to need a lot of stone, so I'll use this extra slot for another miner. With the new addition to our crew, we're going to need another pal bed, and while we're here, let's just go ahead and make a couple of extra ones for future upgrades. To get to level 8, we're going to need a medicine workbench, and sometimes our working pals require medicine for things like injury or depression, and this workbench is how we're going to make the medicine for it. Of course, to build it, we're going to need nails, and to get nails, we need more ingots, which means it's grinding time again. Yay! Since we are here though, we can go ahead and look at the difference between the stone and the metal pickaxe, and you can see it's effectively doubling our mining speed. Now that we have some more, let's make them into ingots. And while those are cooking, let's check on our stone pile and our wood pile, and yes, they do have quite a lot each. Let's make use of some of this stone and start making them into Paldean fragments with our crusher. Time to build the medicine workbench and upgrade the base. Sometimes our working pals require medicine for things like injury or depression, and this workbench is how we make the medicine for it. For the next level, we're going to need a cooler box, which helps keep our food cold, which makes it last longer, and a sphere workbench, which allows us to build better tier spheres. While grinding out some of the materials, I realized that I had forgotten to upgrade my skills, and boy do we have a couple of points. We're going to go ahead and get some attack, which makes us do more damage to pals, and with mining and chopping, and we're going to get some points into higher stamina and weight limit, which are pretty self-explanatory. Now that we have enough materials, we built the cooler and the spear workbench, and it is time to get to level 10 base. Level 10 is a very important level because it allows us to get another base, which means that we have a whole new set of 10 pals that can be working for us, effectively doubling our efficiency. Since we have an option to build another base, it's time to find a good spot for it. To find it, I'm just going to run around the entire island and clear any fog of war that's still left, while noting down some places of interest. And these would include things like chest spawns, dungeons, egg spawns, and any merchants that we would find. It could be a good time to briefly go over eggs. There's 9 types of eggs, one for each element, and I'll go over elements more later when we go to the boss fight. But the eggs can be small, large, or huge. The pal that hatches from the egg depends on the element and the size of the egg. Why are they important? Well, with eggs, I have the chance to get a pal that I can't normally catch on this island, giving us access to some higher tier pals. A quick example would be a large damp egg. We can get a pen king from it, which has watering level 2, which is better than any water pal that we can currently get. As we were exploring the island, we found a large verdant egg, which can give us a pal with higher planting or harvesting, which means more food. While exploring, we found our 10th and final ruby. Nice. Right next to the ruby was a wandering merchant and a pal merchant. They're static, and they should always be here whenever I need them. And we're just exploring right now, so we'll go over them more later. Ah, nice. More dire hell. I'll always be catching these even past 10, as we're looking for one of those movement speed passes that we talked about last episode. You know, Swift, where it's 30% movement speed, Runner, which is 20% movement speed, or Nimble, which is 10%, and preferably a combination of any of the 3. Oh my god, yes! We got it! Oh my god. Okay, this helps a lot. Oh my god. Lucky memorist attempt number 20.
Nope.
So I accidentally did a trick shot off the tree, and it didn't capture it, but I thought it looked pretty cool. And right next to the bird, we found another dungeon, and it's right next to the first one that we did, though nothing on this island is actually too far away from anything else. Almost back to the base, and we found our 10th and final T-Fint. Nice. Right next to it, we found our 10th and final Lift Monk as well. Man, we are just zooming through these now. Speaking of zooming through these, we just found our 10th, but not final dire hell. Oh! See what I did there? Instead of a woohoo, I did a howl. Because of dire hell. We made it back to the base, dropped off our loot, and swapped out our dire hell for the swift one. While exploring, I came across this area. It's got 2 ore in a large flat area that is pretty easy to build on, so we decided to make it our second base. Since all of our materials are currently in the main base, and we have to go build stuff over there, I want to show you a cool little trick. Instead of trying to guess or grab a bunch of materials, all you have to do is build what you want to build and cancel it in your main base. All of the materials go into your inventory, getting rid of any cheeky math you might have to do. Now that we have, let's call it an ore mining base, we're going to need some pals to mine it, and this requires to have at least level 2 mining, and there's only 2 options that we have on this island. The first is the Mamorist, which for right now is very unreliable for me to catch. The other is found only at night, the Tombat. This is a really good pal for a couple of reasons. It can not only mine the ore, but with its level 2 transporting, it can also move the ore to a chest. And the other reason is that it's a dark pal, which means unlike the other types that go to sleep at night, the Tombat's going to be working 24/7. Just when I thought I was going to have to wait another day to find one, we come across it. Ideally I want more than one, but for now this is just fine. We went back to the base to deploy our Tombat, and we came across something interesting. 2 Rexolaris. These for sure don't normally spawn on this island, but we're going to use this for our benefit. They've got a level 2 watering skill, which means faster production on anything that requires watering. Initially I was going to go for a Pen King from a large water egg, but I suppose this works too. While the fighting is going on, I want to explain some information I found about how the Relaxaurus got here. Some areas on the map in Palworld have random incidents that can happen. In these incidents, you can get a bunch of different things, including rare pals, wandering merchants, or hostile enemy humans. It just so happens that our base is right on top of one of these incident spots. Right now, I'm not entirely sure if this is a good thing or a bad thing. These things hit like a truck, and I honestly don't know if they stay here if I die, so I kind of want to avoid that situation. Or not. Here's to hoping they stay here when I revive. Oh hell yeah, they're still here. Alright big boys, time for round 2. This time it's going way better, but I did realize something. They've got an incredibly low capture chance, and I only have 16 pal spheres left. Really hope we can catch at least one of them. Oh, nice, we got at least one. But wow, okay, it's got bottomless stomach and glutton. This thing is going to single-handedly destroy my food supply. One down, one to go, and okay, Palho also down. I do hope this one stays like they did the last time I died. Thank goodness, it's still here. but we've run into a different problem. We only have 6 regular Palspheres and 2 Megaspheres left, which are the green ones. Down to our final Palsphere, and nope, didn't catch it. Thankfully, we picked up 2 Megaspheres randomly on the ground, and surely one of them will catch it. Alright, our last one for all the marbles. Please! Yes! Let's go! I can't believe it actually worked! We've acquired a good bit of materials and some player levels, so I think it's time for some upgrades. The first 2 things we're going to do is get better Palspheres, the Megasphere and the Gigasphere. The Megasphere is just to increase capture chance on lower level pals, while the Gigasphere is actually going to be required to catch Mammorest without a back bonus. The next thing to upgrade is our armor and weapons. For our armor, we can unlock metal armor and a metal helmet, as well as the Mega Shield. And for our damage, we're going to go the crossbow route. We're going to get the regular crossbow as well as the fire and the poison crossbow, both of which apply a damage over time effect, which is going to be useful versus the level 23 Felbat boss and Mammorests. The final thing we want to get for right now is the Nightwing saddle. It's our only flying mount for a long time, so we might as well get it. Metal armor and helm acquired. Crossbow, fire crossbow, and poison crossbow acquired. Nightwing saddle also acquired. And finally, our last upgrade for right now, the Mega Shield. With this done, I think we're going to go try and fight the actual boss now. Before we go into the boss fight, I want to go over the elements in Palworld. As you can see, ground is strong versus electric, which is strong versus water, which is strong versus fire, and so on. And the Felbat boss is a dark type, so it would be nice to have a Dragon Pal to face it, but since we don't, we're just going to go ahead and go for it. Alright, we're here. This is the gear that I'm going to be using, and I'm the same level as the boss, and my pal's around level 20. I think we got this. As you can see, the boss has a pretty high amount of HP, and neither me or my pals are doing a lot of damage, and this is why I wanted the fire crossbow. When the Felbat starts to burn, it takes 11 HP per tick, which should save not only time, but arrows too. The Felbat, like every other pal in the game, has got a set of attacks that it can use, and the first one is the Skill Shot Poison Glob. It moves kind of fast, but is generally really easy to dodge. The next attack he's got to charge up, and it's a slow moving but tracking purple ball. It's also pretty easy to dodge. This one's not so easy to dodge. He shoots 3 fast-moving balls of fire that track you, and they last kind of a long time. Finally, his last attack. The Felbat will try to get close and do an AoE burst that hits anything in its vicinity. With all the moves explained, I think it's time for some battle music and me defeating this boss. Oh my god, there's no way we just caught it on the first try. I'm pretty sure it was a 0.21% chance too. The boss is crucial for us so we can complete the island, but it also gives us an ancient technology point. These are different from regular technology points as they have their own set of things to unlock, and you only get ancient technology points from defeating a boss for the first time, and since we only have one boss, we only get 1 point to spend. I'm going to use it on the egg incubator so we can start getting some cool new pals. Speaking of eggs, I found 9 spawns on our island, and I've marked them with the Palsphere icon. The cube icon is for chests, and the house icon is where our 3 dungeons are found. After collecting all the eggs, I realized I'm going to need a lot more storage space, and since we've got a lot of ingots right now, I went ahead and upgraded into a metal chest, which holds way more things. Before I can make our incubators and start doing some eggs, we got raided by some Relaxauruses, and I ran out to try and capture them before they got to our base because they would get rocked. Okay, so that's a pretty cool mechanic. Turns out I can just yeet it 2 miles away. We managed to capture one of the Relaxauruses, but we also pissed off a nearby Mammorest. It's probably going to stomp most of my base pals, but they'll eventually kill it, meaning I only have a couple of attempts to capture it. And would you look at that, the RNG gods have smiled upon me. Nice. Yup, it incapacitated most of our pals, but all we have to do is put them in the pal box for a little bit, and they will be good as new. Now it's time to incubate some eggs. Let's start off with our large verdant egg and our large damp egg, and hopefully we can get something pretty cool from these. To get more incubators, we need more ancient civ parts, which we get from killing dungeon bosses. This is fine because we're lacking on dungeon pals, and I also wanted to show you a cool trick. If you run into the boss room and don't like what you see, you can just run out of the room and come back, and it should be something different. Now that our eggs are incubating, it's time to go back out and capture some pals. And would you look at what we have here? Our 10th and final Nightwing. Unfortunately, none of the ones we caught had any of the movement speed bonuses, but we're gonna keep looking. I can't be avoiding Mimorous anymore, so every time we see him, we're gonna go try and fight him and catch him. We've got our Gigaspheres, our Fire Crossbow, and our Fellbat to help us fight them, so we should be fine. Also, a fun fact about the Fellbat is when we have it out, we actually gain lifesteal on our attacks, and it can apply a burn or poison with its abilities. I think we're going to be mainly using him for a while. Good news is, the Mimorous are going to be easy, as long as we have plenty of Gigaspheres. I can't believe I didn't have 10 Flax already, but there we go. 10 Flax completed. I decided to go back to the Pal Merchant since I was right next to it and see what they've got. He's got a Loot Moon for 4k, so let's sell some of our pals and get it. The Loot Moon is a level 2 handiwork and is a dark pal, which means it's going to be crafting for us 24/7 and at twice the speed of anything else we had. Here's our last Gumas, and yep, final Gumas acquired. There is another way to get pals not native to the island that I forgot to talk about. Over here there's a syndicate camp where they have a random pal imprisoned that you actually get if you free it. And I can't find a good list anywhere of what pals can be freed, so it's all random to us. This one is the Fire Pal Arsox, and with level 2 Kindling, it will be our best in slot for quite a while, I think. I'm kind of surprised it took me so long to find Tem Alpaca, but with these last two, we are finally finished. We've been slowly chipping away at some of the nighttime pals, and with this, Hook Crates completed. Right next to it, I guess, we found our last Depresso. I went to go check on the ore base, and oh my god, I found a lucky Nightwing. I've never seen a lucky flying pal, and I think I've played at least 100 hours in total. This is incredible. Okay, first thing though, I have to put all my pals in the base because they will for sure kill this bird. Awesome, let's go! I knew I could do it. It doesn't have any speed upgrades, but if we're gonna use a slow bird, we're gonna do it with some style. I couldn't find the clip of me catching the 10th Memorist, so I just went ahead and caught another. You know, I think I only used around 60 Gigaspheres, and with the catch chance at 2% most of the time, I think we got pretty lucky. And with that Memorist caught, we've officially gotten 10 of every daytime pal. We're so close to clearing this island, I can taste it. All that's left is 2 nighttime pals and all 4 dungeon pals. The only issue might be the Nox. These things are so rare, and nighttime feels so quick sometimes. It took some time, but here we go. 10th Tombat acquired. And yes, my mining is currently out of control. Wow, okay, so I thought the Tombat took a long time, but at least with those you can see the glow in the distance. Anyway, 10th Nox is acquired. With the Nox finished, we have finished all of the night pals. All we have left is 4 more dungeon pals, and then we are done. First up is the Killamari. They're pretty abundant, so it was nice to get a free 10 out of 10. Next up is the Fuddler. It's a mining pal that doesn't really give me any upgrades, but it is pretty cute though. Second to last is the Daydream. It doesn't really do much for work skills, but it does have a pretty cool passive. The first thing to do for the passive is to get a Daydream necklace from your technology points, and as I'm building it, I'll explain it a bit. The passive is called Dream Chaser, and it allows all Daydreams in your party to fight at the same time. So instead of 1 pal, you can have 5 pals fighting. Awesome, look at all those Daydream. You know, I wonder if this Cremis wants to fight. Oh god, that thing got massacred! The final pal in the hunt is the Mal. And would you look at that? These are the last 2 I need, and they are being attacked. I think we should save them. The Mal also has a cool ability where it can actually farm gold for you while it's inside a ranch. Well, friends, we finally did it. We captured 10 of each pal on this island and defeated the boss. And by far the most annoying was the Memorist, just because I had to level up and farm a bunch of Gigaspheres. And the Nox, I swear, those things are invisible at night, and they're incredibly rare. I did also capture 4 lucky pals, and they are standing behind me. We got 2 Chickapee, a Cremis, and a Nightwing. But that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 2 and the completion of the Forgotten Island. I wonder what place we'll go to next. That place looks pretty cool. But that's for another day. For now, Palho deserves a good rest.